or was it always through Sergeant Nkosi because he knows them, as you say?
I might have 1 or 2 times or 3 times. It might have happened. I can't say it never happened. It's just that some of the people, you don't prefer to talk to them all the time directly, simply because of the fact that you don't want to have that talking relationship. I used to speak to Mr. Nkosi simply because of the fact that to me it was easy when I'm sitting in a meeting or when I come to the office. I say, man, I have an issue that I need to discuss. Maybe he can assist me. Please talk to so and so.
And then the same question about Mr. Matala. Have you have a record of communicate? When I say record, I mean, do you have a history of communicating directly with him or not?
If I have, it would be less than 5 times, less than 4 times. I've never really, there's never been a person that I communicate to.
Okay. Thank you.
Why I'm saying it is because I don't want to say never. In the meantime, you find 2 or 3.
You say in the meantime, we find. Yeah. No, we rely on you, General, to tell. We shouldn't have to search for it. Thank you, General. Thank you, Ms. Kasum.
Okay. I still maintain, General, that while I hear you when you say it might be easier sometimes to say arrange an appointment for me, it's not easy in this scenario to go via somebody because it's this kind of constant communication, which is easier to be done direct. But I'm leaving it at that.
Unless, of course, General Sergeant Nkosi was already there with them. Because if he was there with the people you were going to meet, then it makes sense that you communicate with somebody who's there. But if he's in another location, Advocate Hasim's point is that why go through a third party to communicate with people who are waiting for you? Was he there with them, Sergeant Nkosi?
No, not necessarily like that, Chair. Commissioners. Of importance is that when I have few people that I'm relying on in the office.
General, let's do this. Let me interrupt you. I'm asking about the specific day, not generally. So generally, you have a few people that you're relying on. On this specific day, there were people waiting for you somewhere because you were supposed to meet with them. And the question you are being asked is why you are communicating with them via a third party. So I'm raising a possibility. I'm not saying this was the case. I just need to know, was Sergeant Nkosi there with the people you were supposed to meet? Is that why you were communicating through him? And the answer can be yes, he was there, or no, he was not there.
I don't know. I wouldn't have asked him, are you there? But if he arranged a meeting for me, and then maybe he communicate with them, and then even if he asked me how far, maybe he wouldn't have been there himself, but he's just asking me how far so that he can tell them.
And the reason I'm asking is some of your questions are they still there? As if he's sitting there with them waiting for you. And I could be wrong. That's why I'm posing it as a question and not putting it as a fact.
It's also possible that when I ask him that are they still there, then you will ask them, are you guys still there? Can you still come? Then you will say, no, are they still there or not?
All right. Thank
you. Just before we leave Steve Butsumi in this context, when General Sonona came to the commission, he expressed, in fact, he requested that he does not mention Mr. Mutsumi's name in his evidence. And that was in the context of a text message that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi sent him, okay, where Mr. Mutsumi's name was mentioned, and your name, but we'll get there. But it was particularly Mr. Mutsumi's name that General Sonona said he fears for his security, for his own physical safety, if he were to.
Fiat presenta Piero Chiambretti sulla neve.
Quando vedo una Fiat, mi sciolgo!
Okay, all right. I'll leave it at that. I was just wanted to put it to you that this seems to be somebody who causes some discomfort and fear. It was a very clear request from General Sonona, please don't make me mention that name. And it actually took a ruling from the chair for General Sonona to mention Mr. Mutsumi's name. You're not aware of anything circling around Mr. Mutsumi, any reason one should be afraid?
I don't have any reason.
General, what do you know about the nature of the relationship, the relationship and its nature between Mr. Mutsumi and Mr. Matlala?
Mr. Mutsumi, as I was referred to Mr. Mutsumi by Mr. Msibi, and also having heard that Mr. Matlala was Mr. Msibi's VIP protector. This takes me to the next point of saying that, but if everybody says this man is involved and is denying it, who I can speak to, who can actually sit him down and say, are you involved in this thing? Do you know about this? And so it was, that's me applying my own approach and my own mind into making sure that I get assistance in being assisted to get this man released in case Mr. Matlala is involved.
So is your answer that you did not know what relationship they have other than you were referred by Mr. Msibi to Mr. Mutsumi and you knew that Mr. Matlala is VIP protection of Mr. Msibi? You didn't know anything about their relationship?
I don't know about their relationship other than the fact that they know each other from Mr. Msibi.
Okay. So when you spoke to Mr. Mutsumi, as you say you did, about Mr. Bushoka and Mr. Matlala, what was being said, the questions you were asking, what you were doing it blind, what did you expect? Why did you think that Mr. Mutsumi can be of assistance if you don't know anything about their relationship other than that they're both connected to Mr. Msibi?
It happened many times in this type of work that I'm doing, where you find that sometimes you find someone who can speak sense to somebody, who can assist in the investigation or even give guidance and say, I think I'll call him and I'll sit down with him and I'll tell you whether he knows he did it or not.
So you thought that Mr. Mutsumi has the ability to call Mr. Matlala and sit him down and talk about this?
Yes.
That's what you knew about their relationship?
Yes.
Okay, so you knew that he's got that kind of ability?
That kind of proximity.
Okay. And did he speak to him? I mean,
yes.
And did you get the kind of answers that you wanted?
He said the man is denying, he says he's not involved.
Okay. I think somewhere in your evidence you then also say you did speak to Mr. Matlala about Mr. Bushoka. Am I correct?
Correct.
In what context? Were you in your office? Did you call him into this? This is now you're a police detective now. I'm assuming you're not being friends now. Where does this happen, and in what context?
If you remember, Chair, at some point he did say that he came to my office when I called. He did come to my office, He said, is when I was asking him about that. I don't remember when, in terms of the timelines, but
When you say, do I you remember, he said that he hasn't appeared before us. So maybe be a little more specific where you're recollecting him. I mean, we haven't followed all of his evidence wherever he's spoken.
he was talking, he was speaking at the ad hoc committee that at some point I called him. I did call him to ask him
Into your office.
into my office.
Yes.
And then he categorically denied about his involvement in this thing. Instead, he assisted me with further information that actually assisted the team further.
So this was a formal thing when you called him to your office.
It was a formal thing that when I called him in the office, but having denied and in realizing that, but this man sitting in front of him, when I look at him like this, he appears normal, he appears like a gentleman, and he says that doesn't know, but still the family is of a firm view that this man is the one. And rumors and many saying, hey, but this man could be involved. Then that's when I said, you know what, let's look into other.
So there would be a record of this interview or this discussion with him, because you did this. You were performing your duties. He came to your office. That's the clearest sign that you were executing your duties. There has to be a record.
There will be a record somewhere, whether it's at head office. I don't know at head office security how they do it.
No, I'm not asking a record of did he come. I'm asking a record. I imagine you would have taken notes. There has to be a record that this person was called in. You had a discussion with him. There's a record of a note somewhere of your discussion with him, the questions you asked him, even if not point by point, but this is what was discussed with him. These are the answers he gave. That's the kind of record I'm asking about.
There will be a record because he gave me of 3 scenarios and say, I'm not involved here. And the reason why I stopped assisting these people is because, remember, I know Jerry and I've grown up with Jerry. He's been a close friend of mine. But let me tell you, Jerry doesn't have money. He didn't have money. I have more money than Jerry. So I wouldn't be involved in the kidnapping of Jerry. That's the first scenario. The second scenario he gave and the third scenario he gave.
Okay.
Those scenarios, I gave all of them to the investigating officers because it was a team. And the scenarios, those scenarios that he also gave, some of them he testified about at the commission. There's another one that is a little bit, which is a scenario that he gave, but I gave it to the team, but it's sensitive.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't disclose anything that you shouldn't. Just finally, I just want to be sure that I understand your answer and we're talking about the same thing. I'm specifically limiting myself to the day he came to your office when I say there is a record. So someone in your office should be able to pull, if we wanted a record, should be able to pull a record that shows on this day you met with Mr. Matlala in the office, and it has a date to it, and this was the subject of discussion. I'm asking you that kind of question.
It should be, although I no longer have an office because it's...
Yes, no, I know you're not in the office, but sure, these are SAPS records, right? So even if you're not in the office, there